Hello everybody, welcome to today's video about AI, also known as artificial intelligence. In today's video, we'll be talking about AI, which is a rapidly growing field that has the potential to revolutionize this world that we call Earth. From virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa to self-driving cars like Tesla, AI is transforming our lives in so many ways. What exactly is AI and how does it work? So in this video, we'll explore the basics of AI, the different types of AI, how machines learn, and the ethical considerations about this technology. So whether you're a curious beginner or a seasonal AI enthusiast, sit back, relax, and let's dive deep into the world of artificial intelligence. ChatGPT is a natural language processing tool driven by AI technology that helps you have human-like conversations with a chatbot, and much more. The language model can answer your questions almost instantly and can also assist you with tasks such as composing emails, essays, and even coding. OpenAI is also responsible for creating DALL-E 2, the famous and popular art generator website, and also Whisper, the automatic voice recognition website. Now the question is, how big a deal is ChatGPT? I'll give you a little hint. It's a very big deal. Now, just for context, think internet-breaking disruption. ChatGPT is scary good, and we're not far from creating dangerously strong AI, said Elon Musk. He was one of the co-founders of OpenAI, but he quit because he wasn't getting enough recognition for his work. Sam Altman, OpenAI's chief, tweeted on Twitter that on the first 5 days after ChatGPT's launch, it got 1 million users. That is great. According to an analysis by Swiss bank UBS, ChatGPT is the fastest growing app of all time. The analysis estimates that ChatGPT in January, just 2 months after it launched, had 100 million active users. For comparison, TikTok took 9 months to get the same amount. That is crazy. Now, you can visit ChatGPT, but before you do that, it's very important to know the pros and cons. So here's a list. First, let's talk about how it actually helps us. The first dot point is that it helps with any web development, such as coding, debugging, or anything else really. Now, other than that, if that wasn't enough, it also helps students with their studies. It helps with homework if a student doesn't have enough time with their teacher, or if people don't have enough money or their budget isn't high enough for a personal tutor. The third dot point is that it can literally write any type of content, whether it's an essay, a script, or even a Shakespeare-style rap. Now, the fourth dot point is that ChatGPT can literally give you any historical information, whether it's the First World War, Second, or even the Cold. Now let's talk about the pros of ChatGPT. If you don't know what pros are basically benefits of ChatGPT. Now, these were just overviews of the helping sector of ChatGPT. It can actually give you solutions to your problems by understanding human thoughts. Now, the second dot point was actually my favorite one, because when you ask something to Google, say, give me a recipe, Google will give you a list of websites, right? However, with ChatGPT, it will give you a direct answer, again, within a few nanoseconds, and it's actually very detailed. The first dot point is that you get any solution to your problems almost instantly, like we're talking nanoseconds here. It is now proven that ChatGPT is indeed the fastest way of asking a question and getting a solution back. The fourth dot point is that it is very efficient and very effective for a company if they use it right. Now, as it is pre-trained AI, it's very easy to use it since it's already been taught how humans normally have a polite, obviously, conversation. So it's easy, and since it's trained the way that it can't use any inappropriate or abusive language, it won't do it. ChatGPT was created by OpenAI, an AI and research company. The company launched ChatGPT on November 30th, 2022. Number 6 is again quite similar to the one we talked about before. This is that ChatGPT can give you a solution to any answer in an appropriate way, which is very much effective for anyone who uses it. Now, if you guys don't know, there's actually a button in the ChatGPT website itself where if you get a solution from the robot that you don't really like or you think it could improve, it has a regenerate button that regenerates the solution in maybe an easier way or maybe a more complex way, whichever one you want it. And most of the time, it's actually very effective, according to most of the users that have used ChatGPT. Now, this may be the best one for some people. Since ChatGPT, no cost for it, everyone can use it. All they need is just a device and a browser and internet, obviously. Now that's it for this list of pros, but remember there are many more advantages to ChatGPT. We're just talking about the key general ideas in here. Now, part 4 of the video, let's talk about the cons, the disadvantages of ChatGPT. Because obviously, despite it having very quick and fast answers, solutions to your questions, it does have its limitations. The first one, and in my opinion, the most important one, since it is fast and it gives you very direct answers, it doesn't let us humans to be creative and unleash our potential. Now, obviously, we are humans after all, so since we get such fast solutions to our questions, people lose their interest in hard working, which is very bad for us. Again, in the future, it can be a threat to our intelligence because obviously it's called AI, artificial intelligence. Even though it may be artificial, who knows, it might learn how to be real, just like us. So it's quite a threat. Now, this one is a very major one that I think most AI companies need to focus on at this point. Since ChatGPT, for example, answers your questions by the data that it has stored by itself, there's no real way to justify its answers. For example, quite a few times the robot was given a few riddles, and the robot obviously stated the answer in a very mathematical and confident way. But in the end, the answer was wrong, so we can't really just rely on that. We can't be dependent on artificial intelligence. The thing is, we need to make artificial intelligence dependent on us if we want to succeed. Now, this point is quite similar to the ones that we've said before. See if you can spot a main theme in this, is that we'll get a really big disadvantage if artificial intelligence makes our intelligence artificial. You get what I mean? If we lose our intelligence, then first of all, we won't be able to control the robots and the AI in the first place, which will obviously be tragic if we can't control them. And I'm pretty sure most of you watch the movies such as Terminator or Ready Player One. Those movies weren't really made for no reason. Now, we just discussed the main factors and the main cons of ChatGPT. Obviously, there are more, there are less. But we just talked about the main ones, the ones that we kind of need to worry about at this point. And comment down below if you noticed like a main factor or a main theme between all of these. So in the end, basically we can say that obviously ChatGPT is quite impactful, and yes, it does have some disadvantages, but it does have a lot of advantages. And those advantages do have quite a theme as well. But it's just the way we use it, and if we do use artificial intelligence in the right way and we do keep it under our reins, then I'm pretty sure that the dark side of robots that we now think doesn't have to be a reality. And in the end, we don't want to be dependent on technology as much, because I'm pretty sure some of you might be addicted to your screens, which obviously isn't a great thing, but we can't blame you, it's not your fault. So now let's talk about virtual reality, VR. In the recent years, virtual reality has really opened up an immersive and interactive world for its users. It's completely blurred the lines between the actual world and the virtual reality world. Now let's talk about virtual reality, also known as VR. In the recent years, virtual reality has really opened a new immersive and interactive experience for its users. It's really blurred the lines between the actual world, what we call Earth, and the virtual reality. With VR, you can practically go to any digital environment you want, and all of this was previously impossible. From gaming and entertainment to education and training, VR has the potential to revolutionize our world and the way we think and act with technology today. So in this part of the video, we'll take a closer look at how VR works, the technology behind VR, and who made VR, all of that stuff. And we'll also take a closer look at the pros and cons of VR, because it's very important to know about the thing as well as the advantages and disadvantages of it. So the real question is, what is VR? Well, VR stands for virtual reality and is a computer-generated simulation used by three-dimensional environments that are really real. Like, they literally look like you're in the place itself, but you actually aren't. And this is all made by using specialized equipment such as headsets, controllers, sensors, and all of that stuff. Now, the question is, what is virtual reality? Well, VR is computer-generated simulation that is obviously 3D, and it's made in such a way that it's seamlessly real and you can interact with it while being in the actual environment itself. This is all made by using specialized equipment such as headsets, sensors, and even controllers. Great, but how is this achieved? Well, this is achieved by taking a stereoscopic 3D view of the digital world and alongside that tracking the user's movements to accordingly change the view that they're looking in. So if the user moves west, the camera moves west. If the user moves east, the camera moves east. That's also nice, but how many things can you actually use VR in, or is it just a waste of money and time? Well, no, not really, because there's so many other applications that you can use it in, including simulation, training, education, and gaming, and even therapy. Who knew? Right, so the concept of virtual reality has actually been here for decades. In fact, the earliest experiments date back to 1960s. However, it wasn't actually until the 1990s that VR tech became widely available in the world, thanks to big VR tech companies such as VPO Research, which was founded by Jaron Lanier, who is known by many as the father of VR. He made many of the headsets and controllers and sensors that we now know, and they were all in the 1980s and 1990s. That is very, very clever. Since then, many other companies and individuals have actually evolved on this technology, and we now have the modern technology of VR that we all know today. And all of this contributions has actually made VR the most rapidly growing field in technology that we know today. Now let's move on to the pros of virtual reality. The first pro on our list is immersive experience. Yes, it is true. Virtual reality can let you have that feeling of comfort that you can be in any digital environment and you will feel like it's in the real world. The next pro is entertainment. Yes, VR does let a lot of people enjoy their gaming comforts and socialize with them. The third pro on this list is education. Yes, VR can help a lot of students and trainers to achieve their personal best in VR. An example of this that I have is that in my primary school, we couldn't visit a country, so we used VR to help us have that immersive experience of actually being in the country. It's really good. Fourth pro on this list is health and well-being, because VR has actually been used in therapy and it has provided a safe and comforting space for their patients to confront and say whatever they want. The fifth pro on this list is actually accessibility. Yeah, VR can let those with physical limitations access the world, such as traveling or even sports. And the last pro on this list is marketing. Yeah, I didn't think you'd think of that one, but using VR, you can create so many immersive presentations, whether it be PPT files or just a video to convince your customers. it's a great way and it's a great strategy to boost your marketing. So now that we're done with the pros, let's move on to the cons, shall we? The first con, and I think this is also the most effective one if you want to get somebody to drive away from VR, is the cost. VR can be very, very, very expensive. Like the headsets, the actual VR itself, and it's all quite expensive, trust me. The second con is also just as bad. It is the motion sickness. I'm sure nobody would risk their money, well, just to be sick watching it, because the graphics can sometimes be too. The third one is also quite a creepy one. It's isolation. Yes, VR can isolate you from the rest of the world. Another con is limited mobility. Yes, it's true, VR actually needs a lot of space to work, and not everybody has that much space. Like, for example, nearly a whole living room. Also, it does depend on what type of VR you are doing. If it's action-packed, then be prepared to maybe buy a mansion or something. And by the way, mansions are sold separately. Well, what's the second to last con, you ask? Well, it's addiction. VR is very addictive, just like any other game. And it's very easy to get addicted to VR, actually, because if you don't limit your screen time, that is what might end up happening, actually. And the last con is technical difficulties. Yes, VR is kind of fairly new, so there's going to be a lot of technical limitations. So to conclude all of this, VR is becoming a very integral and important part of our lives. And yes, it has quite a few drawbacks, but it also has some potential to, again, change our world. But then again, we should know when to be dependent on technology and when to not, and how to keep it under control, as the Industrial Revolution says. So that was basically it for this part of the video. So we've completed the VR section. Now let's move on to the one that we fear the most. Great, so all the things we talked about before were obviously technology, but they also had another thing in common, a very popular word. Yes, AI, almighty AI. So great, in fact, that so many jobs of ours will be demolished because of it. And many research have shown, especially from the Allen's Institute, that so many jobs in the US will be demolished because of it. 72 million people will be unemployed by 2030. And just for comparison, USA's GDP in the world is 24%. So that's going to be really bad. So now the basic question is, how will we save ourselves from this? Are there options, or is it just one answer? Well, the answer is you need to upgrade yourself. You can either work with technology or work for it. And since our jobs will kind of be demolished because of it, we can't work for it, so we might as well work to make it, right? So now I'll just give you a few examples of what we have to face with. DALL-E 2. Right, this is also a very popular art generator that we all know, and you just have to write a few phrases. For example, you can even write a painting of the ocean, Van Gogh style, and it will give you a detailed painting of that. And let's see how many artists this will wipe out. And then there is ChatGPT, of course. This is basically the Google Destroyer, and also the many researcher destroyer, actually. And then we have Character.ai. Character.ai can literally transform you or anybody into a celebrity, and you can even talk to a celebrity. Asterix. And then there is the all-new Meme.ai. This is all you have to put is a few keywords, and this will make you a meme that you can share to anyone. For example, you can write friends and happy, and then it will give you a meme on that. And then we have Deepbeat. A lot of musicians will be wiped out because of this, because it can literally make you this. It's a website that can make music like a professional for you. All that for free. And then we have Codex. All the coders are going to be mad. Coding is a very important skill that, especially nowadays, we really, really need. And Codex teaches you everything, and you can just search up, write a HTML for a new website, and it will write you that. And so let's see how many jobs are going to be wiped out. Artists, there's Google researchers basically, and then there is musicians, and then coders. That is so sad. And on top of that, here is an image that will tell you even more jobs that are going to be wiped out. Right, just for comparison, researchers did research on road accidents with the ratio of per million miles. Now, the results shocked literally everyone, and I'm pretty sure they'll shock you too. Because 9.1% accidents were actually done by self-driven cars, whereas 4.1% were caused by humans. It's crazy, the ratio. Right, now we know most of the stuff, but all that we need to know now is the step-by-step how actually all of this happened. Well, it all started with machinery arriving to people's lives. Since most of them back then were in the agricultural field, mostly they would come with tractors and all of the farming machinery basically. And then since all of that machinery came, people were like, oh my gosh, no, we're going to definitely be unemployed. They're not going the rich people, they're not going to need us anymore because the machinery is here. But then mechanics came, so the whole unemployment thing, there was unemployment, but not as much then because mechanics came. A new field opened up. And then the Industrial Revolution came, which also brought with it the computer, which nowadays we call AI, but back then, obviously, since nobody had thought of that, it wasn't then. And then because of the computer, people were like, okay, now we're definitely dead. We're going to be unemployed, definitely. But then that opened a whole new field of IT, which we now call like IT technicians, software developers, coders. All of those people came into business, and then because of that, people started, they were like, okay, maybe technology is pretty good. But we have to learn from our mistakes. In the past, we have made a lot of mistakes with technology. So hopefully now people do learn how to become smart with technology and how to use the time that we have left smartly and actually control machinery, because we don't want machinery to destroy humanity. We want it to help humanity and genuinely, not like revengeful, and which opens up a whole new question of emotions. What if technology does get emotions and robots, as you'll see in the next few videos?
Years. So we were wondering
Now, after watching that video, I'm sure a question might have popped in your head. What if robots and AI get emotions? What if they get emotions of sadness, anger, or perhaps even revenge? What if when they do get those emotions, they want to harm humanity rather than help humanity? Which is also, it brings up a very big point about us controlling AI instead of AI controlling us. We need to make AI help us, help humanity in the way that we actually find it helpful, rather than it actually harming us. There's many ways, some of which being by helping doctors, nurses, teachers, anybody. There's lots of fields that us humans have created. So we need AI to help us, not demolish us. So that's it for the video, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Bye.